Hello, everyone. Uh, Hello, and welcome to this session on Rise of GenAI in RPA. These kind of topics are really in these days. A lot of companies are doing sessions on GenAI with RPA. I'll try to cover a little bit more than the other folks are discussing these days. I will get into use cases a little deeper and we'll try to open up in the end for have a discussion, taking question answers. You can feel free to type your questions on the way when something arises in your mind, and we can take it in the end or during the discussion if required. So I am Asif Hussain, RPA practice head and solution architect at Royal Cyber, and for over 20 plus years, I'm driving business efficiency for my customers. I think this is something pretty much most of our participants know, but we will just briefly touch that what actually RPA is. RPA is an automation technology that operates your computer or VMs just like a human being, and it can navigate to different screens on your desktop applications, apply search criteria, filters, run reports, punch in data into forms, either desktop or web. Um, and it can operate your MS Office tools like MS Excel. It can extract data. It can write data into Excel. It can transform and it can copy paste. Whatever a human being usually does on these applications, it can do it. It can operate your email, it can monitor that, it can get triggered on receiving an email, it can uh, read email, it can write email, it can now with AI, it can understand email and take actions. So now a lot of companies are talking about hyper automation and uh, they're moving towards hyper automation. What hyper automation is like the ultimate power up for your business processes. It's all about combining RPA, AI, machine learning, and other tech goodies to automate just about everything you can think of. With hyper automation, you can streamline workflows, eliminate manual tasks, and unleash a whole new level of efficiency across organization. It's like having an army of super smart robots on your side taking care of the grunt work so you can focus on what really matters for your business. So automation will reach its full potential at the end of a consistent process. We like to think of it as a journey, one in which a virtual workforce is deployed by the organization to help achieve its long range corporate goals. Usually, it begins with simple process driven, highly repetitive manual processes that do not need decision making at any stage and move towards data driven processes that need one or more decisions during the process. The cost and complexity also increase when the automations move from doing to thinking to learning. So RPA is automation of steps performed by hand of a human user, and augmenting it with AI brings head work. That means learning and decision making capabilities. AI can really supercharge RPA. Imagine it is as a brain behind the bots. So helping them make smart decisions and understand human language better. With AI and LLM on board, RPA systems can tackle trickier tasks, handle messy data, and basically become more adaptable and efficient. It's like giving your automation a big IQ boost, making your workflows smoother and processes way more agile. So GenAI is like having a wizard in your computer, conjuring up solutions and insights with the power of artificial intelligence. It's all about harnessing the magic of AI to generate innovative ideas, predictions, and even creative content. So now you can unlock new possibilities, discover hidden patterns, and transform your data into actionable intelligence. So now let's take a look how GenAI can help in process automation. So first, it's fantastic to analyze processes and pinpointing the ones that are ready for automation. So with GenAI, you can have a better understanding of your processes and see what is best for automation earlier on. Once it identifies these processes, it streamlines the whole bot building process by generating code automatically. Now it is possible to do that now with tools like automation autopilot with by automation anywhere. You can just write the context of your automation, brief it, and it will generate code for you. You will have to tweak it, of course, but it will give you the complete skeleton of your automation. So with GenAI, it is since it is uh, good for crunching numbers and predicting outcomes also. So you can fine tune your business strategies with confidence. Um, and in the end, you can also analyze what you have already developed for making it more optimized using GenAI. So in a lot of areas, GenAI can help automation and make it even better. So intelligent automation is like having a assistant that not only discovers inefficiencies in your process, but also automates them and continuously optimizes it for peak performance, finding ways to streamline tasks, minimize errors, maximize productivity. Uh, with intelligent automation, you're not just saving time and resources, you're unlocking a whole new level of efficiency that keeps getting smarter over time. So let's take a look at some use cases where GenAI can help RPA. So let's suppose there are a few listed here. I won't go through each and every one of them. You can see the names, but like let's suppose for invoice processing, it can help in streamlining the invoice processing process and significantly reduce cost and turnaround time. We will take a demo of invoice processing with the help of RPA and GenAI towards the end of this session. It can also help in medical history. Uh, so it can be used to automate medical summary creation, and it can um, remove the burden from physician and enhance patient care. It can also help you create after visit summaries for your patients, and this is another way of reducing burden from your nursing and other staff. In complaint resolution, it can come in handy by implementing automated complaint resolution system that can enhance customer satisfaction and streamline support process. It can help you gather information from multiple systems and that can be processed and summarized through LLM. So RPA will collect information from multiple systems, and LLM can summarize that and show it in a specific format and make a dashboard out of it, so that your customer facing agents can save time from while talking with the customers, give them more personalized touch instead of just looking through the systems and trying to collect the information. It can help you in email triage. So email triage is another very important process where RPA is being used, and with LLM you can have better understanding of emails now. So why RPA with GenAI is important? I mean, GenAI is itself is a very powerful tool, and some people ask why RPA? What can RPA do with that? So there are multiple ways in which RPA is important with GenAI. For example, feeding the right context to GenAI. So RPA can efficiently gather context for GenAI and provide the relevant data and information needed for decision making and analysis. If you just ask ChatGPT a certain question, you may not get the right kind of response with what you're looking for. The response quality would be a lot better if you give it the right context. If you provide the knowledge base as context in which you're trying to find the answer from. It can help you select the specialized model, so it can ensure that the right algorithms are used to address specific business needs and challenges. Um, RPA can also help. Um, we all know that it can help the handling the repetitive and rule-based activities. Um, Now, there are certain areas in which RPA is, if RPA is taking help from GenAI, um, if we plainly take help from GenAI, we may not be confident on all areas. So human in the loop can be brought in with RPA, and GenAI can generate insights, predictions, while RPA ensures human oversight and intervention when necessary, maintaining control and accountability in the automation process. It can also help in uh, governance. So RPA and GenAI work together to establish governance framework, including audit logs and controls to ensure compliance, transparency, and accountability in business operations. Now, this screen that you are seeing right now talks about three different patterns in which GenAI and RPA can work together. So first one we generally call as reader-writer pattern. Uh, in this pattern, the source information is picked by RPA bot from multiple backend applications. Multiple applications, in fact, backend for RPA, but not necessarily for customer. So the RPA collects information from multiple systems, sends it to LLM, and get it transformed in a specific format or whatever it is trying to find from this information through the prompt given by the bot, and uh, then send it back to other systems or send it back to the requester in certain different formats. We'll take a look at the model in more detail. There is another pattern that we call doer pattern. So it's just not communicating anything to anyone, but it is picking information from certain source systems, transforming them, and then putting them back into other application systems. And this one is called assistant model, where the end user or customer or staff member, a human user, is interacting with the automation through a conversational interface that could be email, that could be a support ticket, that could be a chat bot. And the LLM uh, tries to answer that query through a knowledge base that is fed through an RPA bot to the LLM. So there can be multiple scenarios like uh, LLM is able to answer the query by itself going through the knowledge base. And through the same conversational channel, it can respond back to the user. Let's suppose an email is received, LLM goes through the email, gets the response through the knowledge base fed through the RPA, and responds back through the email through the RPA that what is the reply for this query. Uh, or in other scenario, there is some action required based on the query. So let's suppose a customer comes up on a chatbot, asks to block a credit card. The request is understood through the LLM, and the process to uh, block the credit card is understood through the knowledge base. And LLM is able to trigger a bot, specific bot that is capable of blocking the credit card and updating all these backend systems that are required to be updated. And then maybe response is also sent back through the chatbot that your credit card is blocked and what other actions probably are required to be taken. So now coming towards the reader-writer model that we discussed uh, as first pattern. There are certain examples of this reader-writer pattern of automation here. Like you can see cold call emails. So we can gather context about the audience and generate email through this. For customer feedback response, we can gather sentiment and customer history to generate tailored response. For proposal writing, we can combine multiple answers from your knowledge base with additional context for a tailored answer to a proposal question. For applicant communication, we can combine feedback from interviews, JD details, and applicant resume for tailored communication. For customer summary creation, it can help customer summarize the customer history and support ticket history for faster consumption by the customer facing agent. And uh, for email or PMO summarization, it can summarize information from PM tools, project management tools, and emails and other resources for faster executive overviews. It can also help in uh, KYC summarization, like it can gather summary, uh, it can gather information from multiple application systems and create KYC review, and so on and so forth. It can help in compliance and ESG reporting and product documentation, fraud communication, insurance claim communication, healthcare appeals. So in for doer pattern, we can have multi-source report creations for gathering reports from different systems and documents and emails to combine them and into one set. For two-way match, we can use it for reconciliation. We'll show you a, type of demo around that area too. After call work, that we also already discussed about, like how it can help physicians create after visit summaries or any meetings after meeting summary kind of thing can generate. So let's move toward the third pattern, that's um, assistant pattern, or in which it not only responds to the queries, it also performs certain action. So in this pattern, one example can be knowledge base assistant. So RPA can be used to augment the knowledge accessible to the LLM and um, use it to perform actions on behalf of the requester. So automated actions can be performed and the statuses can be posted back to the requester. It can be used for support escalation. It can be used for self-service help desk. So LLM will create enhanced assistant interfaces and execute common tasks behind the scene with RPA. RE AARE by Automation Anywhere is one example of doing this, and we can plug in with GenAI to have it even capable of doing much more. So why LLM with context is important, or what difference does it make? And why we are discussing this, because we saw that by giving the context, uh, I mean, in almost all of the use cases we saw that we were giving context through the RPA to the GenAI engine, and giving context actually gives the ability to the LLM to respond much more accurately. For example, let's see here on your left of your screen, you can see the asker is asking about an event. A link is there, and someone is asking that who will be the speaker at this event, and ChatGPT is responding that the cutoff date is September 2021 for me for my information, and I don't know about these speakers. That is even better. Like if it doesn't know, let it know that. But LLMs can be creative sometimes and hallucinate. So let's suppose in the second question, what is the difference between line chain and conversation chain? Someone is asking, and ChatGPT has no clue about that, and it's making up that what it could be. That's not accurate. On the right, you can see that uh, if it can understand the context, the right window is not directly communication with ChatGPT, but it is communication with a chatbot that is using ChatGPT at the back end, and an RPA engine is involved with it to write the prompts. And you can see that it can provide detailed answers and accurate answers about both the queries on the right. Now, coming up towards um, challenges that we see for using GenAI with RPA. Some of them are general with GenAI, in fact. So first one is complexity of data sources. Since it's a lot easier now to consume a lot of data sources at once using GenAI, one big challenge is credibility of all those data sources and single source of truth among them. If there are multiple variations of fact in different data sources, uh, GenAI will get confused, and it may just pick one of those options that may not be correct. So with the ability to consume a lot of data sources, the challenge of uh, getting something that is not accurate increases. Um, Training and fine tuning. So it's a training and fine tuning a Gen AI model is a technical task, and it and finding the right model for your Gen AI for a specific task is also challenging, and it sometimes take considerable amount of time, resources, and expertise. So fine-tuning these models to adapt to specific business requirements and workflows can be labor-intensive and may require extensive experimentation. Interpretation, so explainability is another area that is challenging. So Gen AI models, particularly deep learning models, are often considered black boxes due to their complexity and understanding the and explaining the decision making process of these models can be challenging. And why it is a challenge and why it is a problem, because it can raise concerns about transparency and accountability. So if you're not able to explain that why you took a decision or your model took a decision on a certain use case, um, it can be a transparency issue. That's a black box in most cases, that we don't understand that why Gen AI took a certain decision. Data privacy and security. If you're using chat GPT kind of LLMs, it is sometimes a data privacy and security issue because you are using a public interface. But if you're using the same LLM through your private instance, like using it through Azure OpenAI, you may not feel insecure sharing your data for analysis. Integrating with existing systems. So integrating RPA automation with generative AI into existing IT infrastructure and systems can be challenging uh, due to compatibility issues, data format mismatches, and it may need seamless communication between different technologies, and it may require some time to fix all these problems. Um, uh, Generative AI also raises ethical questions like, uh, is it using plagiarized material, or transparency we already discussed. So there are ways of getting around these issues, but that we should keep in mind that there can be areas of challenges where, while having Gen AI as your engine behind the RPA. Now we'll take a look at a use case. It is intelligent recruiter, the name of the automation, and it is to it is for resume shortlisting and interview scheduling automation. So these are some challenges you can see on your left. Um, with this automation, you can help recruiters, especially in the cases where massive amounts of applicants are applying, and hundreds or even thousands of resumes are there to be processed, and it's time consuming, challenging to go through each resume, understand what the story behind the resume is, and uh, the be able to either select, shortlist, or reject that resume. So how this flow works: the automation starts and checks if there are any emails with the right criteria uh, with applicant resumes. It can either find a resume or an applicant, or may not find one. So if doesn't find at any, it will be a loop or keep looking at. If it doesn't find it, it ends here, or it if it finds, it digitizes it and loads it to uh, ChatGPT, and it asks certain questions about this resume from OpenAI, and there are some examples here. Of course, these can be changed to whatever the actual uh, the recruiter operating it wants to know about the applicant. Now, this engine, after Answering these questions, ChatGPT can help in either shortlisting or rejecting the candidate and update a spreadsheet with the candidate status and some primary details, summary about the candidate, and insert the candidate into ERP or whatever recruiting application you are using. For the purposes of this demo, I'll just show this entered into Google Forms, and we have kept another step where it enters into Salesforce as contact, uh, and then emails it the results back to the candidate, either whatever, like maybe he's shortlisted or he or she is shortlisted or rejected. If the candidate is shortlisted, it sends a link through which the candidate can um, schedule his her interview with the panel. So it is attached with the uh, calendars of the panelists. All right, so now I'll show you the demo. First, let me show you. This is the code. This is developed through UiPath, and the prompt UiPath is using to know about a resume. Let me open this again. All right, is this. So these are the questions that go to the chat GPT along with the text from the resume, and this is being asked that this is the format I need in the response so that RPA can consume it accurately. And this text is read by the RPA bot and sent along with the resume text as prompt. Oh, this is the other. Okay, so it opens Outlook, it looks for unopened emails, goes through each one of them at a time, and it digitizes the resume. It picks up the prompt file that I just showed you and feeds the prompt with the resume text to GPT. We can change the model also to either 4 or 3.5 we want to feed it to. And this this is pretty easy in UiPath or any RPA tool to plug in your chat GPT instance with UiPath. So UiPath offers connectors and it is called UiPath's integration services. So when I go to integration services, you can see a lot of connectors here. All these are pre-built and they are increasing by time. And you can interact with all these applications a lot more easier than before we used to using these connectors. So these are few connectors that I have enabled for my automations in the past. And we can see one of them is OpenAI. So this connector is used by my automation here, and it is going through each file, each resume file, asking questions about it, and then uh, either selecting or rejecting the candidate, filling up forms, um, and sending response in the form of email. Either in the case of selection, this response goes. In the case of rejection, this the other one goes. This one, and submits the form. That's it, and it goes to the Salesforce as an API call to update the candidate there. Okay, when I'll run this bot, it will show the progress on my primary screen. So I am now changing the screen that I shared to my primary monitor. All right. So there are 3 emails in my inbox, I think, uh, from applicants. They are not actual applicants, of course. I myself have sent, or my team members, and now I'm running this automation to process those. It is now. You can see some statuses on the lower left. Execution has started. It will open my go through my Outlook to find those emails that are unread, download the attachments. Okay, let's do this. Maybe there are no unread emails in my inbox. No, just let me check. Yep. Okay. Unread. I'm marking a few unread. Oh, subscription key has changed. So I'm opening the project again. Something has moved in this project, so it was not supplied. All right, I'll just cover what I was trying to say. through explaining another way. All right, so you can see the project folder. What happens is it downloads the emails and there's a taxonomy manager through which it tries to understand them, and it uses this prompt that I showed you, and uh, take it forward from there. Moving towards the other automation, that which is I think more interesting. Eh, Let me talk about that. So this is for two intelligent invoice processing, and it has a two-way matching using UiPath and GenAI to process the invoices, understand the invoice, match it against purchase order, and then process it in the ERP. So business partners put their invoices, like they either send it through email or they fax it or they put it in a cloud folder, and uh, UiPath as an RPA tool is supposed to pick those invoices from there and through document understanding pick information from them, uh, feed it to OpenAI to understand plans and bring it into a certain format. Uh, then it fetches uh, purchase orders from ERP. For this customer, we made it on SAP. For the purpose of demo, we will not be showing customers SAP, of course. So I will just show a different application for that, um, built for the demo purpose. And once purchase orders are fetched from this interface, um, we the UiPath uses LLM to combine invoice and PO data in prompt and send it to OpenAI for analysis on whether the invoice matches with purchase order. Purchase order and invoice text can be compared as a string by UiPath, but that would not be um, that kind of have the flexibility that we are looking for, because like let's suppose the vendor name can be misspelled a little bit, or someone may write ink in the end, or someone may not write LLC or ink in the end. These differences can be understood by LLM, and it can still match. Uh, so when we compare it through LLM, the results are then either it matched fully or it has some doubts about the matching. If it is matched fully, the UiPath can take it forward and process the whole invoice. If it is not fully matched, Action Center can be activated from UiPath, and a document specialist, a human user, can take a look at this invoice to either accept it or reject it or send it back to the vendor for fixing. And this is how it takes it forward. Uh, Now coming towards my other screen again. So here's the automation. Okay, so it goes through each invoice at the folder we have specified and digitizes it and creates prompts. Um, when I say create prompt, let me show you what it does. So there are two prompt files here. One is to pick details from the invoice and bring it to a specific format by LLM. And the second is a more detailed prompt which asks LLM to validate and compare the data that it's transformed through the first prompt, and it has the invoice data. And the second table is the data from the purchase orders it picked from the ERP and respond it in this format. This is the prompt text. These areas will be replaced by the bot, right? Okay. So coming back to the UI path, it prompts, it gets the um, both the documents compared. Like for one is document, one is in fact just a list of approved POs, and take actions accordingly. So we have message boxes in this automation just to show that what it is doing at the moment. That are of course not part of the actual automation that client is using. I'll just before I'm hitting run, I will go to the documents to show you these are the invoice files here that it will try to process. And since we are not accessing client's SAP here, this is the sheet of purchase orders that it will go through and compare the invoices with. All right, so now it will pick the first invoice. And it is now trying to understand the text from the image file that is a scan of an invoice. This is what it found there. These are the three important fields we are showing here, that what is the company, what is the purchase order number against which the invoice is raised, and this is the total. Now it will go through the approved invoices and try to find that out. It found that yes, it matched, all data points match. So it will go ahead, put it in the list where it will process them. Now it is picking up second invoice. The message box is saying purchase order, but it's an invoice. All right, so this is what it extracted from the second invoice, and it also matched. And here is the summary about that. Second invoice, third invoice. Third invoice has this detail, and yes, it's also matched. Fourth invoice, these are the detail from fourth invoice, and it is not matched, and it is telling the reason that what part of it is not matched, comparing the two. So look at this, it is saying that 53.50 is on one, the other document is saying 100.50 is total. So total is mismatched. Purchase order number is matching though. All right. So that was it for the demo part. I will share my other screen again to enter the last few screens of my deck. All right. So now, how we are helping customers and prospects from this webinar session. This is how generally we engage with new customers, and we help them build a pilot project automation in such a way. These durations can be less or more depending upon the use case. And for the participants of this session, we are offering 1 week of complimentary process analysis or POC development that can help you understand that how your processes can be automated. Moving forward, we are ready to take some questions, and you can type your questions in the chat section of this, and I'll be happy to answer if I can. All right, so we have our first question, that how does GenAI handle unstructured data and variability in document formats when identifying automation opportunities within processes? All right, so the first part of the question I thought was taking me into another direction, but the last part is saying when identifying automation opportunities within a process. So there are specialized tools that take assistance from machine learning at the back, to some extent from Gen AI too, but they are task mining and process mining tools, and they are offered by Automation Anywhere and UiPath as well, that sit on your worker's desktop to listen what he or she is doing, or they go through your transactions from database, or go through your transactions from in to your middleware applications to understand your processes. And these data mining tools map your uh, these process mining tools map your uh, processes in a workflow format, and you can even generate pseudocode or automation code from it too. So there are specialized tool, like I would say, that can help going through this unstructured data of your process metadata. Second question is, what level of technical expertise or resources does an organization typically need to successfully implement and leverage GenAI in their RPA initiative? All right. So if they have an RPA initiative already going on, so I'm supposing that they have the RPA expertise already within the organization. Uh, Gen AI expertise is not as such a big thing. You just need to know how to write prompt, and if, or you just need to know how to experiment with writing the prompt. So one writing a prompt for a specific type of query in a single way may not work perfectly, but might work in a different way. So the level of expertise that you would need will mostly be on the RPA front, not on the GenAI front. Um, API calling to GenAI or using the connectors to GenAI is pretty straightforward for any RPA developer. Third question is, how does GenAI address concerns regarding data privacy, security, particularly when dealing with sensitive information within automated processes? So we had a brief point discussed during the discussion also that there are concerns, of course, if you put your data for analysis with GenAI on a public instance, but you can definitely spin your own private instance with uh, OpenAI through Azure or other providers like Genesis, like the Google's or Amazon's offering on GenAI. So in that way, your instance will be totally isolated and you should not be worried about sensitive information shared with anyone. All right. I think we already have covered the time as well. So, and I don't have any further questions too. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending this session. You can email any further queries if you have, and we will try to answer through email too. You can schedule a call if you want to discuss about any specific process that you think we can help you with, or we can even just start a POC for that specific process that you have in your mind, and we can take it from there. Thank you very much again.